So good morning, Mount Juliet High School. This is Leanne Rainey. I'm here today with a guest, Miss Christy Walker from our guidance department, because we wanted to take a little bit of time and talk to you about a topic that has come up here in our county recently. We have got some of the things that we try to work with all of our students on. It's something that is very personal to people. It's things that people don't really like to talk about a whole lot of times, but I think it's really important as a school and as a community that we do talk about things that happen and that we do make sure that all of our students know what resources you have and know some different steps that you can take. We have been touched in our county in the past couple of weeks with suicide. And this is something that we do deal with quite a bit with depression and with young people feeling like they're inadequate or like they're not enough for where they are in their position. Our hearts and our minds and all of our thoughts go out to Wilson Central High School at this time, as they did lose one of their seniors this past week. Miss Walker was over with them at Wilson Central yesterday and spent some time working with some grief counseling and with some different people at Wilson Central. And it is a traumatic thing that we have to deal with. We have lost some students here at Mount Juliet High School in the past year and a half as well, and so we know all too well what it feels like to have one of those empty seats sitting in our classroom, like we've talked about multiple times, and especially at graduations. One of the things that I wanted to come across is something that I'm very passionate about, and that is the connections that we see in today's society with social media and with students feeling like they are not enough, that they are not what they need to be, because they have a picture painted for them on social media of this perfect life in a perfect world. There's nobody that can add up to enough to be a perfect world. There's no perfection at all. And I think what our society has painted as a picture is what a perfect teenager is supposed to look like, or what a perfect mom is supposed to look like, or what a perfect woman or man is supposed to look like, or what success is. And one of the things that I try to preach to all of our kids is you are exactly what you're supposed to be. My own children, I preach to them that they are doing exactly what their purpose is. We're here for guidance, we're here to love you, and we're here to build you up and support you. But what I see on social media is a lot of students, a lot of other kids, a lot of people just tearing each other down. And I think that's one thing that makes me the most sad about today's society, is because you do see that. Everybody's trying to be better than everybody else, and that's not the way that we are supposed to function as a school, and that's not the way we're supposed to function as human beings. We're supposed to love each other, and we're supposed to take care of one another, and we're supposed to build each other up. And that's one challenge that I do have for this student body is take care of each other. Take care of exactly where everybody is. If you see somebody that's hurting or somebody that's upset, it's our job to take care of that. It's our job to come and wrap our arms around them and love on them and make sure they know that they are enough. And so I wanted to bring Miss Walker in with me to talk about this a little bit today, because a lot of people get really nervous when we start talking about things like depression and drug use and suicide and social media. And I think the only way it's going to get better is if we do talk about it. Ms. Walker, tell us a little bit about when you were at Wilson Central yesterday. What were some of the things that you heard, and what were some of the things that you saw when you were there? Or what would you like to relay to everybody?
So of course we had a lot of really upset teachers, students, faculty that were just really upset yesterday. And what I heard a lot from the students was if I could only been there, said something, of course. And what we want to relay to you is that suicide is not from just one thing. It's not just from, I was upset yesterday. It does come, it culminates over and over. So we want to just let you guys know some things to watch for, maybe from your friends, family members. If someone, of course, tells you that they are thinking about suicide, or they're really depressed, some warning signs you want to watch for are if they are withdrawing from everyone, that you see them, they usually are happy, or they're going out with their friends and they all of a sudden just don't want to go out. If they are increasingly, using alcohol or other drugs. If they're giving away their possessions, that's a big one. But those are some things to look for. And one thing, just know that there are resources here at the high school. There's your counselors, but the big thing, guys, is to not avoid it. You've got to let somebody know. Don't just say, well, it's going to be okay. And you don't let that person just think that you're there for them. You want to be there and be a good friend to them. And it's a big thing to let somebody know. Your counselor, we have a STARS counselor here, Miss Tuhig, and some of you know her very well, and some of you may not know that we have a STARS counselor. So she's here every day but Tuesday, and she's an awesome resource. So if you don't know who she is, if you'll come to the guidance office, we can refer you to her. But one thing to know is just to let somebody know. And if you don't feel comfortable talking to your counselor, always talk to your parent or somebody else.
What is, I think one of the things that we hear a lot is I have students when I'm talking to them and they say, well, I'm the one that is trying to take care of this, or I'm the one that's doing this, I'm the one that's doing this. And what I have to try to relate to our teenagers is that's not your job.
Yeah.
There's not a way, and you're not trained at 15, 16, 17-year-old to correct a situation that's been building itself up over a lifetime.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the things that I try to tell them is if you have a friend or you are feeling anything like that, please reach out to an adult that you trust and let us know, because we have lots of people that are trained.
Absolutely. We have situations before that, you guys have your texts and all that where friends are texting back and forth, and one student is relying on another to get them through. And if it wasn't for you, I would do this to myself. If it wasn't for you, and maybe it is a girlfriend-boyfriend situation, but you cannot take that upon yourself. You are not equipped, you are not trained, so you have got to tell an adult, whether it's your counselor, your parent, but tell an adult, because you cannot take that upon yourself. You've got to let somebody else that is trained, and there are so many resources out there that can help with that.
I think one of the things also is a lot of people feel like they're tattling or that they're snitching on somebody for telling them. And if it results in a life, that's not tattling. That's saving a life. And another thing that a lot of people ask is, how do I reach out to an adult, or how do I tell an adult without it being very obvious that it was me? We all have email. I receive emails from personal students all the time asking for this, or saying, hey, I just needed you to know that this is going on, or hey, I need you to know that this is what I heard. Email. Nobody's going to see that but me, and then whatever we need to do about that. And one of the things we always do is we always try to remain anonymous and private with students that are trying to help another student. Counselors all have emails. You've got so many ways that you can contact.
And bottom line, that student wants to be helped. That student wants to feel better. They don't want to feel depressed. They don't want to feel anxious and, like Miss Rainey said, unworthy. They don't want those feelings. Everybody wants to feel loved, so everybody wants to get help. They just may not know how. So you are helping. You may feel like you're tattling, or may feel like you may not be doing what that student wants at that time, but it's for the good of the student in the long run. So you're doing the right thing, and we really want you to do that.
So last question, let's talk a little bit about personal stuff. So instead of my friend needs help or this person needs help, let's talk a little bit about, what do I feel? I know that there have been multiple times in my life when I get very anxious about things, when it's a situation that's new, I've had to move around, I've had to start new jobs, I've had to experience a lot of different situations. There are times when I feel very, very overwhelmed. You wake up in the morning, you take a deep breath and you think, it's going to hit me like a brick wall today. How am I going to deal with this? So with all of the compounding pressures on teenagers today, I mean, I have a daughter that's 20, where we've lived through a lot of this stuff. what are some of the things in their personal selves that they can recognize as, wait a minute, it's not okay for me to feel like this? What are some of the things personally that they need to look for that would be a sign, hey, I need to find somebody to talk to?
Yeah. Well, like Miss Rainey said, teenagers, and I think even like today, when I was your age, when Miss Rainey was your age, we didn't have to deal with the social media, with everything that you guys deal with today. Yes, I cannot imagine comparing my life to what you guys compare. I can't imagine. So when she was speaking earlier about the perfect everything, I can't imagine. But as for like the daily things and just getting anxious and overwhelmed, and everything that you guys have to, as far as just school, academics, and, the testing and having to do well to get into college, and that's just one part of your life. That's not the personal and all of that. I would say self-care is huge. Having somebody to talk to, whether it's a friend, your parent, if it's not a friend, a parent, a family member, but somebody to communicate with. And or if you don't have that, if that's not something that you feel like, journaling, just a way to get your emotions out, is going to be a great way. And we have, like I said, your counselor, someone to talk to, or journal is a great way.
My daughter, and I'll throw her under the bus all the time, so she texted me yesterday, and she's pretty heavy in her classes, and she's got some hard classes that she's dealing with, and she texted me and she said, I don't know that I can do this test is going to be so hard, I've got this essay to do, and I'm not going to be able to make my grades, and my GPA is going to drop. It was like this big spiral, like I could just see her and hear her spiral, and I said, just stop, put everything away, walk out the door, go for a run, get something to eat, come back in an hour and call me. And she's like, okay. And she did. And when she called back, she was like, I just feel everything piling on. And when I feel it, I have to have somebody to say, stop.
Yeah, it can
You're
just
enough.
make you,
It
can make you
enough.
so overwhelmed.
Yes.
And sometimes you just need to take a break, like you said,
Do something.
take a run, do something. It may just be go grab a bite to eat, just step away from the situation, because in the moment, it is everything. Absolutely. So sometimes even dealing with something the next day.
Ms. Walker, is there anything else that you'd like to tell our kids in our community?
No, I would just say, if you notice anything, don't feel awkward, feel like you're tattling, as Ms. Rainey said. It can make all the difference. So we want to help everybody, help all the students, help friends. So mental health just matters. Mental health is as important as physical health. So please just let someone know if we can help, if anybody can help. Thank you.
And I think what I wanted to end on was just making sure that everybody hears out of my voice, out of all of our voices, that you're loved. We love you just like you are. Everybody has a position, everybody has a job, everybody has a purpose and a passion, and you have plenty of people surrounding you. So if you ever need help, ask. Just ask. You've got plenty of people surrounding you, because the thought of us having an empty chair at graduation, it makes my heart sink, and I've done it way too many times, and our hope is that that's not going to happen this year. And if it's something especially that can be prevented, we definitely want to make sure that we do that. So please contact your counselors, contact Miss Amy Tuig. She's also located in our guidance department. Any of your assistant principals, teachers, we're all trained that if somebody comes to us to say, hey, I'm having a problem with this, we know exactly what steps to take to get some help and to get those supports in there. So thank you. We love each one of you. We hope that everything is going to have a great year. Our hearts and our prayers and all of our thoughts go out to Wilson Central High School. Please know that your Mount Juliet community is surrounding you, and know that Wilson County Schools is behind you for anything you need, to the teachers and all of the parents and all the students there. Thank you, and please know you're loved and know that you're enough.